The following is transcribed.
Welcome to Bat-Supe, the never-nutritious, definitely delicious podcast dedicated to the old-time radio adventures of Superman and the dynamic duo. Buckle your utility belts for lots of table turning, plenty of fast planning, and disloyal Confederates galore. Before we get to today's adventure, let's pause for this important message.
They're barely off the assembly line, gang, and already we've got a new and improved version of our nifty Bat-Supe Can Openers ready for shipping. And all you have to do to get one is send in 3 can lids from that never-nutritious, definitely delicious Bat-Supe, or the packing slip from the Bat-Supe Can Opener you've already got, plus 1 can lid. Yes, sirree doodle. The new and improved Bat-Supe Can Opener has all the great advantages of the original, but won't, pinch your fingers when you squeeze the handles together, or slip off the cans, causing more bleeding, or fall apart when you're washing them with the dishes, like, some other can openers might tend to do if the mail we've been getting is accurate. At any rate, these redesigned, new and improved Bat-Supe Can Openers have been laboratory tested and are guaranteed to be can openers. So, get a grown-up to help you send those can lids off for yours right now. They make swell Mother's Day gifts, and they're collectible, too. And keep enjoying that Bat-Supe, gang, available wherever fine podcasts are sold. Exercise is not the same as extra fries.
And now, Bat-Supe presents today's adventure, Part 7 of The Story of the Century, as originally broadcast on April 9th, 1946.
Kellogg's Pep, the super delicious cereal, presents The Adventures of Superman. Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from another planet, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, defender of law and order, champion of equal rights, valiant, courageous fighter against the forces of hate and prejudice, who today gets to the bottom of the mystery that has baffled him and begins to turn the tables on those who are behind it. We'll join him in a moment. But first, a word from our friend, Dan McCullough.
You know, you fellas and girls are going to get a lot of chuckles out of your collection of those new second series of comic buttons from packages of Kellogg's Pep. For instance, the picture of Uncle Willie from the Moon Mullins comic strip. Boy, it's a knockout. There he is, his eyes popping, his old felt hat sitting on one side of his bald head, and his big black cigar sticking out from his brush-like mustache. And you'll get a kick out of Maggie, too, with her silly grin and her button nose. And, of course, there's Superman. He's doggone good-looking, with his bright red cape slung back over his shoulders and the Superman emblem on his jersey. Yes, sir, every single one of these new second series buttons looks mighty snappy and colorful and bright, so that, well, you'll want to get all 18 of them and wear them pinned on your jacket or your dress or cap. And you'll want the fun of trading duplicates with your pals. So don't miss out. Ask Mom to get you plenty of Kellogg's Pep, because that's the only way you can get these swell comic buttons. You don't send in any money, not even a box top, and you can't buy them anywhere. But when Mom opens a new package of Pep, you just look inside for your exclusive prize. There's a comic button in every package of P.E.P. Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek. No, The Adventures of Superman.
A bewildering series of events in which Lois Lane's apartment was turned topsy-turvy. A theatrical rooming house seemingly vanished into thin air. And Perry White and young Jimmy Olsen disappeared while carrying large sums of money, had Clark Kent completely mystified. Then, to cap the climax, the famous Batman and Private Detective Candy Myers discovered $20,000, the exact sum White and Jimmy had vanished with, in a closet in Kent's apartment. At that point, Kent began to suspect the truth. Leaving Batman and Candy in the living room of the apartment, he retired to the bedroom, supposedly to change his clothes and pack a suitcase. Instead, as Superman, he streaked to police headquarters, where, once more in his guise of Clark Kent, he asked Inspector Henderson when he had last seen Candy Myers. Listen.
Myers? The private dick?
Yes, Candy Myers.
Oh, I haven't seen him in 6 months.
Well, that does it. Now I know the answer.
The answer to what?
The answer to this mystery. I had a hunch there was something rotten in Denmark when both Batman and Candy warned me not to call you.
Not to call me.
Yes. Candy said he'd just come from headquarters and that you were after my hide.
Say, I don't get this. Start at the beginning, Kent.
Well, the beginning was the 1st of April, April Fool's Day. That's when it started. That's when Perry White called me and told me to pick up Lois at her apartment.
April Fool's Day.
Of course. It was all an April Fool's joke. On me.
You mean Lois Lane's apartment wasn't wrecked? White and Olson didn't disappear?
Oh, Lois's apartment was wrecked, all right, and Jimmy and the chief disappeared, but it was all arranged. They rigged up an unsolvable mystery to fool me.
You mean to sit there and tell me the whole business was a practical joke?
Sure. Yes, and now that I look back, I know what started it.
What?
My statement to Lois and the chief that every mystery had a solution. Yes, I remember her saying, "Oh, you think you can solve anything, don't you?"
So they cooked up one that you couldn't solve, huh?
That's right.
Well, they'll pay for this, Kent. They can't fool around with the police department and get away with it.
Oh, now,
and
wait a
another
minute.
thing, they've got to be taught that practical jokes are dangerous.
Well, I intend teaching them just that, Inspector, in no uncertain terms. Great Scott, I've got to get back to my apartment.
Hey, Kent, wait a minute.
I can't wait, Inspector. I'll see you later. Let's see, where can I get out of these clothes? I forgot all about Batman and Candy. Oh, that looks like an empty office. Yes, it is. Batman or Candy decide to walk into the bedroom before I get there, I'm sunk. Here we are. That does it. Now, up with the window. Out and away!
Streaking away from police headquarters, Superman heads for his apartment, where, in the meantime, Batman and Candy are becoming impatient.
Taking Kent an awful long time to pack a bag.
No, I was just thinking the same thing.
Poor guy's probably all thumbs. You sure got him going.
You know, Candy, I'm beginning to feel sorry for him. He's running around like a squirrel in a cage trying to solve something that can't be solved. It really isn't fair.
Well, White's figuring on breaking it this afternoon. Hey, what's keeping him? Kent? Kent? It's funny. No answer.
Oh, I forgot.
You forgot what?
Better take a look in the bedroom, Candy. He may not be there.
What? He's there. I just heard him. Hey, Kent?
You're right with
That's not Kent's voice. I'm going in there.
No, wait, Candy. Kent?
Just a minute.
There. Why, that's Kent.
Yeah, but who's in there with him?
Sorry I kept you waiting.
Anybody else in that bedroom, Kent?
Huh? Why, no.
Candy thought he heard another voice.
A deep voice.
Oh, I had a little frog in my throat the first time you called. Well, gentlemen, it's nice to step off the merry-go-round.
Well, what do you mean?
Where's your bag? We got to get going.
I don't think we're going anyplace, Mr. Myers. Now that I'm off the merry-go-round, I'm staying off.
What are you talking about?
This is it, Candy. I can tell by the glint in his eyes. The cat's out of the bag.
And ready to claw you fine gentlemen into ribbons.
Now, wait a minute.
Too bad you slipped up, Candy.
I slipped up. How?
When you told me you saw Henderson an hour ago, you haven't seen him for 6 months.
How did you know?
I'll let you figure that one out. Right now, you can clear up some things for me. Whose idea was this April Fool's joke? Lois?
Yeah. She got White and Jim in on it, then she called us.
Surprised that Jim would have any part of it.
Well, he kicked like a steer, but they forced him into it.
Uh-huh. What about Mrs. Walsh? Who was she?
Oh, she's an old-time actress. Lois hired her from a theatrical agency.
Well, I must say this was an expensive gag. Breaking up Lois's apartment, hiring actresses. How did they arrange that switchover from a theatrical rooming house to a piano studio?
It was originally a piano studio. Simmons was a friend of White's. All they had to do was get some false partitions in, hang up a few theatrical photographs, change the furniture around a bit, and that did it.
Uh-huh. And all because I said every mystery had a solution.
That's right. You're not sore, are you, Ken?
No, I'm not sore.
Well, I guess we better call White and Company and tell them the gag's all over.
Wait a minute, Candy. Wait a minute. Where is White?
He and Jim are hiding out at the newspaper club.
Is Lois with them now?
I guess so. They're probably rolling on the floor laughing at how well the gag's going.
Good. Let them laugh.
The gag's over.
Oh, no, it isn't. Now it's my turn.
Well, what do you mean, Ken?
I mean, I'm going to turn the tables on them. You can call them, Candy, but don't tell them I'm wise. Tell them I'm going around in circles.
You mean
I'm going to teach them that practical jokes are bad medicine.
Well, how, Ken?
I'll figure some way. Just you play along.
Okay, if you say so.
Well, what do you want us to do?
I want you to call them and tell them I'm so dizzy I can't see straight. Tell them you finally persuaded me to take a sedative and go to bed. Throw them off guard.
Carefully, Kent gives Batman and Candy instructions as to how to proceed in the turnabout of Lois's mysterious April Fool's joke. Later that evening, a car with Editor Perry White at the wheel and Lois and Jimmy crowded into the front seat beside him turns into the suburb of Brentwood and rolls through the dark, tree-lined streets.
I told Foco to have a 10-course dinner ready for us. Taking Kent for a buggy ride deserves a celebration.
Any mystery can be solved, says Mr. Kent.
Yeah, we showed him one that couldn't be.
I don't think it's funny anymore.
Oh, what's that, Olson?
I said it isn't funny anymore.
Oh, Jim.
I wish I hadn't let you talk me into it in the first place.
Why, I thought you had a sense of humor, Jim.
Well, I have, but... Gee whiz, this joke's gone too far. Candy said Mr. Kent was so...
Dizzy was the word.
Well, anyway, Mr. Kent had to take a sedative and go to bed. I don't think that's funny at all.
No, you don't.
No. As soon as we get to your house, I'm going to call up Mr. Kent and tell him.
You're going to do no such thing?
I am, too. Gosh, poor Mr. Kent.
Poor Mr. Kent, my eye. If he can't take a joke, it's just too bad. Besides, maybe now he'll stop thinking he's Sherlock Holmes. Oh, if only I'd been there when Candy found the $20,000 in his closet.
I just want to be at 407 Clover Street tomorrow when Batman and Candy bring Clark there, and he sees it's a theatrical rooming house again.
Well, nothing doing. That's going too far. I'm going to tell him.
If you do, Olson, so help me, I'll fire you.
I don't care.
Tomorrow's the finish, Jim.
If you're not going to spoil it. Understand, Olson?
Well, you promise you'll tell him tomorrow?
Yes, we'll tell him all right.
Will his face be red?
Well, okay then, but I don't like it.
Here we are, and I'm as hungry as a bear. Come on, now, all out.
Gee, it's dark. You ought to have a light on the porch, Chief.
I always tell Poker to put it on, but he forgets.
I can make out the walk. You follow us, Miss Lane.
Okay, Jim.
Oh, Kent, the great detective. Oh, I haven't had so much fun in years.
Sleeps.
What are you stopping for, Olson?
Look.
Look at what?
What is it?
Your house.
What about my house?
It's gone.
It's what?
Good heavens.
Good Godfrey, it is gone.
Stunned, Perry White, Jimmy Olsen, and Lois Lane stare into the dark, empty hole in the ground where the editor's huge country house had stood. How could a house disappear? We'll return in a moment for the climax of today's episode. But first, here again is your announcer.
Yes, sir. The mothers of all the gang are sure being rushed for lots of Kellogg's Pep these days because, of course, it's such a sunny, golden toasted whole wheat flake cereal. And because it's the prize package where you get those exciting comic buttons. Real true-to-life pictures of your favorite funny sheet characters. A new second series of 18 different buttons, including Maggie and Jiggs and Andy Gump and Hans and Fritz and Olive Oil, Popeye, the Little King, Lord Plushbottom, Uncle Willie, and Emmy, Rip Winkle, Pop Jenks, and Superman, of course. Why, these pictures look so doggone real you'd think they were going to talk. They're done up in full comic strip colors on bright white enamel buttons that really show up when you pin them on your jacket or your dress or cap. And it's no end of fun to compare notes with your friends and see who's got the most different buttons. What's more, these Pep comic buttons are easy to get. You don't send in any money, not even a box stop, and you can't buy them anywhere. All you do is to ask Mom to get you a package or two of Kellogg's Pep and look for your prize inside the package. Remember now, these exciting prizes come only in packages of P-E-P, Pep. The Sunshine Cereal, made by Kellogg, the greatest name in cereals. Now, back to the adventures of Superman.
Arriving at Perry White's suburban home in the late evening, the gray-haired editor Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane were startled to see only a large, gaping hole where the house had once stood. Pulling themselves together, they drove into the village. And as we continue now, they have just returned with the sheriff.
Here we are. Come on, Sheriff.
Right behind you. You're playing a joke, Mr. White.
This is no joke, Sheriff. I tell you, my house is missing. Someone stole it.
That's right.
Well, you see, Sheriff.
A house missing? Why, of all the crazy...
It was right there. And,
Chief, look. Sleeps.
It's back again.
Good Godfrey.
Heavenly days. It is back again.
Their jaws sagging. Perry White, Jimmy Olsen, and Lois Lane stare incredulously at the big house, which, but a few minutes before, had not been there. And as they stare, then rub their eyes and stare again, Superman, high above them in the dark sky, chuckles to himself.
Surprised, my friends? Well, this is nothing to what's going to happen in a few minutes. Just you wait and see.
What will Superman do next? Tomorrow's episode is packed with mystery and laughs as the Man of Steel turns the tables on his friends in order to teach them that a practical joke is no joke at all. So be sure to listen. Tune in, same time, same station, and listen to The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Fellows and girls, be sure to follow the adventures of Superman. Brought to you every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station, by the grand old Kellogg Company of Battle Creek. And for other thrilling adventures of Superman, see your local newspaper. Superman is also a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC publications. You know, it wouldn't surprise me, fellers, if your dog sometimes wishes he were you. Then he could tell Mother what he likes to eat. And it wouldn't surprise me if he'd ask for Kellogg's Grow Pup dog food quick. Why, it beats all how many dogs beg for it. Grow Pup has such a swell, meaty flavor, and there are 3 different kinds. There's Grow Pup Ribbon, Grow Pup Meal, and Grow Pup Pellets. They're all mighty tasty and mighty good for your dog. Help give him lots of muscle and strong bones and teeth. Remind Mother, next time she's marketing, to ask for Kellogg's Grow Pup. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
That was part 7 of the story of the century from The Adventures of Superman. Thanks for listening and for your continued support. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to Bat-Supe wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube. You can also like us and reach out on Facebook. Bat-Supe is now a proud member of the Moonlight Audio Theater family of podcasts and will soon be heard as part of the Mutual Audio Network's Saturday Story Circle. Learn more at batsupe.podbean.com. That's bat-supe.podbean.com. That'll wrap things up for this episode of Bat-Supe, but be sure to tune in next time when you'll hear Perry White say,
It's me, Perry White. Before the next exciting scenes of our adventure, please permit us to pause for a meeting of the Law and Order Roundtable, conducted by the Green Hornet. Good evening, friends. If you are between the ages of 15 and 21, please stop, think, and listen, because this message is intended especially for you. Undoubtedly, most of you are preparing yourselves now for the job of tomorrow. That's great. Keep up the good work. But along with preparing yourself for your chosen trade or profession, don't neglect to groom yourself for the job of good citizenship as well. Young Americans, America's hope for the future is in your hands. And that's why it's vitally important that you be well equipped to practice good citizenship, which in the final analysis is the foundation of good government. Incidentally, good government will not tolerate crooked politicians and dishonest officials. Consequently, racket cannot thrive or even exist. Boys and girls, learn all you can now about how your government works. Find out what makes it tick and why. Make it a habit to study both sides of every important political issue. And in addition, study the records of candidates who seek to run your government, locally or nationally. Vote for the candidate who is best qualified by education and experience, who has the best record for honesty, sincerity, and accomplishment.